And so, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on your location where you're watching us from this time. I'd like to welcome you this evening to the Hit Out program here on BKS TV. On the Hit Out, we say dialogue and not confrontation. We say words and not bullets. We are really on Voice of BKS in Butu Town, Nima County. In today's edition of the show, we're going to be discussing Liberia's recent deal with Total's Energy to take over the oil in Liberia. We're going to be discussing that here tonight in detail. We will be having with us two experts in that field. Two of the experts will be joining us here this evening for us to discuss that issue. But on the national scene, President George Manu Weah today arrived in Liberia for the first time since the invasion of CDC from her former political party headquarters. And of course, again, the first judicial circuit court for Montserrat County Criminal Access B has rendered a guilty verdict in the high-profile murder case involving defendant Bill Jala, sentencing him to life imprisonment for the brutal murder and premeditated killing of his girlfriend, Princess Zoe Wise. And so, of course, we have so many stories for you here tonight on the Heat Tower. President Joseph Human Boakai today delivered a speech at the United Nations Assembly. He reaffirms Liberia commitment to women empowerment at the United Nations. These plus many more stories here tonight on the Heat Tower. We will be bringing you all of the latest happenings around Liberia. Today, President George Manawiya, when he arrived at the Rabat International Airport, he spoke with crew of reporters. We will also be playing you an essence from that interview. But again, let's recognize all of our followers. Those of you just joining us on Facebook and YouTube would like to recognize you. Good luck, Roosevelt. He said, good evening from my end. My good family of BKS TV. Good evening, Roosevelt. How you doing this evening? Welcome to the show. Please help us to share the show with somebody. Spark Dole, he says, good evening to BKS TV. We are following Spark. Good evening and welcome to the show this evening. Where you following us from? Doris Biande, also watching us from Morris's Farm Community, Monrovia, Liberia. Doris Biande, good evening and welcome to the show this evening. Please help us to share the show with somebody too as well. But again, a couple of stories here for you tonight. A lot more stories here on the Heat Tower. And let's try to bring you some bit of updates from around the world. But tell us where you're watching us from. We still got 2 minutes. As always, when we come here, we love to recognize you guys that are following us. That's our little way of telling you thank you for always being here to listen to us. And it is because of you that we are here. And I know because of us too, you are also there. My good friend and brother, my big brother, Cyrus G. Fala, following us from Liberia. Cyrus, good evening and welcome to the show this evening. How you doing, soldier? My man, you need to tell me when you come. You are in your inbox, but you're not responding to me. Don't try that thing on me, Cyrus. You gotta check your inbox swiftly. You need to respond to me, and you know that. But if you're just joining us, we ask you to just tell us in the comment section where you're watching us from this evening. We got roughly 1 minute on this segment. Please tell us where you're watching us from this evening, and let's recognize you on the show. Again, those of you celebrating your birthdays today, would like to say happy birthday treat to all of you. We celebrate with you in the grand staff, and those of you too who celebrated your birthdays already, we also want to wish you a belated birthday treat from the workforce of VIX TV platform, including the radio station too as well. And those of you too wishing to celebrate your birthday in times to come, would like to say a pre-birthday treat to all of you. And we wish you a very, very happy celebration. Adolphus L. Yomi also watching us this evening from Ominga Community, Monrovia, Liberia. Adolphus, good evening and welcome to the show. And so, like we say in our headlines for today, we will be discussing the landmark agreement between the Total Energies and that of the government of Liberia. What this means to the people of Liberia, we're going to be bringing experts in this field to discuss all of the benefits and, if possible, the little bit of challenges that we will encounter along the way. So again, we want to say stay tuned with us, keep listening, keep being there, and keep following the show this evening. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I can assure you that. It's going to be a really, really wonderful conversation. I can assure you that. But if you're just joining us, Abraham, also watching us from Ganta. Abraham, good evening and welcome to the show here, VIX TV, my chief. How you doing? Stay with us as we go for this quick break, and we will be right back to dive into the conversation here tonight. Stay with us. And so this is it. Yeah, okay, great. We go for this one.
Sweet, sweet, kiss our little. for go alone, yeah. Sweet, sweet kiss, our liver. Now for go along. You take it from Peter today, Paul will take it from you tomorrow, mama. Sweet, sweet, living is sweet, oh, where the rich or poor. Why not pray for a long fellow? He can pray for a long life. As long as they live, you know, the better we grow. Fine, power is fine, oh, it can make you heavy. It's just like a brook, you know, they pray to capsize. Sweet, sweet kiss our liver. Not for go alone. You might be can eat it, or a picture can eat it. Kiss our liver, kiss our liver, oh, sweet kiss our liver. Not for go alone. You take it from Peter today, oh, Paul will take it from you tomorrow, mama. You take it from me right today, oh, mother will take it from you tomorrow. Fine, oh, by your fine, may your fever. Well, people do to you, you go to cry. As I know for one person, oh, it's a matter of time. Our time is a lesson, yeah, brother, this I have. Sweet, sweet kiss our liver, not for go alone, mama. Human being can eat it, oh, the deer can eat it. Ah, go our liver. Sweet is our liver, not for go alone. Human beings can eat it, or a creature eat it too. Sweet, sweet, living is sweet, oh, where the rich or poor. Why not pray for a long fellow? He can pray for long life. As long as they living, the better we grow. You take it from me right today, oh, Mary will take it from you tomorrow, mama. Hey, you take it from Peter today, oh, Paul will take it from you tomorrow. Fine, power is fine, oh, it can make you heavy. Looking like a crook, you know, a way to capsize. Ah, Kesavalio, Kesavalia, ah, Kesavalia, mama, no for go alone.
And so once again, we'd like to say welcome to all of you. Thank you for being there, and thank you for always being there for us when we are here. Of course, like we told you earlier in our introduction of today's edition of the show, we will be discussing the recent agreements with Total Energies as the government of Liberia, through its executive arm, commits to signing and transmitting to the legislature. So today we will be discussing that. But just to review this press release from the executive mansion 6 days ago, President Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr. Welcomed the landmark signing of production sharing contracts, that is a PSCS, between the Liberia Petroleum Regulatory Authority (LPRA) and the Total Energies, covering 4 offshore blocks in the Liberian basin. So today we're going to be discussing this particular signing this particular agreements between the government of Liberia and that of the Total Energies uh, Incorporated. What this means to Liberians as a whole. But while we still await our guests to join us and also our panelists to join us, we said to you earlier on that former president of Liberia, His Excellency George Manawia, today arrived in Liberia after a few days of his political party headquarters being demolished. And when he arrived, he was received today by thousands of supporters of the CDC. And when he arrived at the Roberts International Airport, he spoke with the media. And we just want to bring you a little access of that appearance today. DK is in the back already, but let's play this, and when we bring DK, you will have something to say about it too as well. I mean, today, what I saw today, I'm not a politician, but what I saw today, it got me, a little bit fumbling that former President George Manawia still has the people's admiration, and he might probably maybe be contesting. I don't know that, but let's play the recording from there, and we will be discussing it here too as well. Peter G. So Jr. watching us from Carter Bypass opposite Central Depot. Welcome to the show, Peter. Yilesef Va is also watching the show this evening from Trump country. I like the way they make it call America. But let's play the recording. This is it. Great.
Ceremony. I think while I was away, I watched television and I saw that everyone that came here to usher back to our own country, I see that fight. I see fighting. Why are we fighting? Why? Why are we fighting? I put on my page, I'm coming back home, be civil, and make sure that there's no trouble. This country belongs to all of us. I don't think it was necessary today, but I'm glad to be back home. I think you all are aware that my son was changing as the headquarters and made a new one for our people. And what I'm back home for, to make sure that CDC get our party headquarters back. So we don't need to fight. We don't need to fight. So we need to be civil, we need peace in this country, and that's the only way we can move forward. To all of my friends and citizens, what happened to us, don't worry. George Manawia is here. We're going to restore, we will rebuild our party headquarters, and that's our goal, our mission. Our mission is not to come and black airport and police fighting. No, leave them alone. Leave them alone. We came to create the party for our people. We were able to do that, and we are still able to sustain the political fight. So don't worry. I'm back home. We're going to build our party in a record time, and we'll be okay.
My name is Christopher Gaston, and I report from inside Liberia, Mr. Biago. You can't tell us the primary visit of the primary agenda for visiting both Europe, America, and other few African countries to travel.
Well, maybe you're not hearing me. I think the only reason I went to Europe for was to make sure that my son Timothy found a club, and then he went to Olympic Marseille, and I'm back home to do my work.
Were you impressed when you scored the goal against Real Madrid?
Well, I'm not a football fan. I play the game. I'm not a fan. Anyone will be happy when they score a goal. Even if you're watching somebody score a beautiful goal, you like it. So that I love it, and I'm a proud parent. That he scored a goal for the game. They lost the game.
My name is Manuel from Barrington. How it feels being back to your country?
Well, it's beautiful. It's my country. I was born right in this beautiful country, and I'm back home. It's always a pleasure to be back home, but no one chasing you. I'm a free man. Leader of a political party, the People's Party, and I'm back home. I'm proud to be back home. to be with my people. We got a lot of things to do, and then that's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Your supporters are talking about 2020 now.
While I was away,
So that was the former president when he arrived today at the Rabat International Airport. Listen, folks, I don't know whether I'm the only person shocked here, but can you see the arrival of the former president? The amount of people that went to wait for him? Do you? I don't know. I don't know whether I am the only person that is shocked here. And I want to hear from you, listeners. If you're listening, let's give you a little time on this. Do you think with this, all of the rigmarole, people going to wait for former President George Manawiya, him coming back, and also uh, a lot of partisans going to await him at the airport. Do you think he can still, come back and contest as president of Liberia and win? Let's hear you on this. Yeah, you can call us on the numbers you see on the screen to make your import. Call us on the number you see on the screen to make your input here tonight on the show. Again, if you're just joining us, you're listening to the Heat Hour here on BKS TV. On the Heat Hour, we say dialogue and not confrontation. We say words and not bullet. Today, you observed or you witnessed the arrival of former President George Manawiya. Tell us what you make of this, and do you think former President George Manawiya can still come back to the Liberian politics and become the winner of the 2029 election? Let's hear you. Call us on WhatsApp at +2507954289447. Again, +25079 5428947. Let's try to put the numbers on the screen for you to make your input. Call us on +250 +2507954289447. And so, folks, we've gone 24 minutes in the show. We've gone 24 minutes in the show here tonight. If you're just joining us, you're listening to the Heat Hour program here on BKS TV. And today we will be discussing Liberia recent agreement with the Totos Energy. Totos Energy recently signed an agreement with the Liberian government to have like a sharing contract between the Liberia Petroleum Regulation Authority covering 4 offshore blocks in Liberia Basin. So we're going to have experts here tonight to discuss on this. What are the benefits for the Liberian people? What do we stand to benefit from this? And how will it develop our country too as well? Honorable Ruben Guan Jr. watching us this evening from Monrovia, Liberia. Ruben would like to welcome you to the show. Melvin Dienzia also watching us from Bound City, Nima County. Melvin, good evening. Welcome to as well. Matthew Bato Jr. is also watching from Butu, Nima County. Matthew, how is Butu this evening? How you doing? How is Butu this evening? So, folks, if you're just joining us, bear with us. In the next 5 minutes, we're going to be ushering in our guests. So just bear with us. But let's go for this break, and we will be right back. Let's go for the break. Okay. My brother Chris Seli is on here. Chris, good evening and welcome to the show this evening. How you doing, my brother?
Thank God, I'm trying. It's just been a busy weekend for us, but I just returned back to North Dakota. I was just one course. Yeah.
That's great. Now, we've gone 26 minutes, but thankfully you're here. I know you follow today the arrival of former President George Manuel Weah. You saw the citizens, you saw partisans, and you saw how people were standing all along the way, waving to him from the Ravas International Airport to Monrovia town itself. You saw it. Now, my question to you tonight is I want you to do your first political analysis. This is a former president arriving in the country and not the president. Even when the president arriving, the executive mansion will post it, but you will not see the kind of citizen going there like that. So, with this welcoming today for the former president, do you think he can make a comeback in 2029 and be the winner?
Oh, like I told people before, just going election, the probability or the winning number between former President Weir and President Barker was less than 1%. That clearly shows that the country is divided on blue and red. And besides that, the mistake the government making and what they keep doing, they're putting former President Weir in a better chance to return. Yeah. So today the numbers are the speech volume. Uh, Looking at the number today, it's politics. Things can change. It's possible that President Weir will retain. It's possible that maybe you say, okay, I will not be in the ticket. But that whole all concern, factor constants. That President Weir may not retain 2029. And he retains 2029. What happened? It become a comparative election between President Bouaka, if you be, contesting for the second term, with former President Weir, it will be a very comparative election. Don't overlook it. I told people. So I think that it's a good
Chris,
team. Yeah.
I want us to make the conversation a little bit spicy.
Mhm.
With the way the age of President Joseph Human Boakai, I am not saying this, right? Listen,
Mhm.
I'm not putting words in your mouth, and I know our position here, they are independent and they are not the position of the platform. But with the way President Joseph Human Boakai is aging, and when you see him to go give speeches, you see his hands are dreaming and all of that. Do you think he will still make a political comeback in 2029?
Jim, when President Bouaka was contesting, other folks, the supporters said he will not go for 2 years. He will take over to the VP. So then we are putting almost 2 years to retain him. I can show you, President Bouaka will contest the second term. This is the issue. The supporter of President Bouaka will rally around him. Because some of them think that if Jeremiah Kun takes over from Bouaka, most of them will not be secure within the party. Right? Now what you saw now, there's a fight now within the Union Party, the finance minister on the side, few people in his interest, people in the interest of the VP. So you will see that it will be a little fight. If President Bouaka don't retain or not, go for the second term, who will find a different within that party because other guys who are we are real members of the party will not subscribe to the ideology. So it is possible that President Bouaka will retain back, those guys will rally around President Bouaka to retain back so they can secure their job. Because it's possible that if VP Kun takes over from Bouaka, Gafon will not get a finance minister job. If other people will be reshaped around in other sectors. So they will not be secure. In that sense, they will still rally around President Bouaka. They will encourage President Bouaka to go for a second term. Right? But if President Bouaka don't go for a second term, Kun takes over, most of those guys from Lofa will not be able to maintain their job. So they will do all they can do to rally around him so he can go for the second term. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. DK, you are driving. I don't know whether you can say something to this issue. You saw the arrival of, okay, great. You know, DK that United Party man, so you will not say anything bad about this. Yeah. And
No,
Robert,
I want to stop there again. I want to stop there again. Make comment. All I think that man talking is that something to listen to. He's double sided and double toned. You don't trust Chris. Chris is that I don't know how people even dealing with it. Speaking today he fought, to next day he's against. Just where I always put all that crowd up, and you were defeated. So what are you talking about? The reality is George Weah was popular when he didn't have any dent on him. George Weah took over, all his ministers were sanctioned. So George Weah is the only one. Most of them stay in court. So what are you talking about? George Weah is always popular, and George Weah have been helping a lot of people within our ring. So they was always go to go and work on him. Does it mean that when Costa put on our crowd in Abuja, Costa is anybody in Abuja up to today? Costa put on crowd that and he is still Costa today. So I will talk to Chris later. Let me stop. Just go ahead. I begin can just be confusing himself all day.
okay, no problem. So today, even though Robert, let's say Zoya Domi and Robert Sonkale is a guest panelist on the show, but he is appearing here tonight as an expert to discuss something very important. So that means we sway away a little bit from politics today and discuss Liberia's development. You know, Robert is somebody that I'm not knowing for a couple of times, but I like the way he interacts. I love his intellectual ability, and I must admit it would be a really wonderful show tonight. But Robert, despite us discussing different issues tonight, let's hear you.
Oh no, let me turn my. I want you to.
Yeah, you got two devices there. Let me pull one out.
Yeah, put one up for me, please.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
I think it's okay.
Yeah. So let me firstly clarify that I'm not an expert. I'm knowledgeable. I have a master degrees that focuses on some of the issues that are going to be discussed. Expertise is a high pedigree to set yourself up at, but I know a lot to be dangerous. So
Okay,
yes.
great. So I don't know whether you want to make your position on this. The arrival of former President we are today in the country. What do you make of it? Do you think this is a political comeback for the CDC, or you just think it's another show of the CDC always? Let's hear you, Chief. Let's give you 30 seconds, then we can go to the real conversation.
We have to be honest to ourselves.
Mhm.
We argue that popularity is a perishable commodity, right?
Mhm.
But in the case of former President Weah, his is different. Different in a sense that he's not just your regular politician that is going to fade away after he loses an election, right? We need to come face to face with that fact. And I'm not going to position myself here as a CDC person or a spokesperson for the CDC. I'm going to try as much as possible to present the issue as I see them, right? You can't take crowd away from former President Weah. We have to accept that. What we should be concerned about is that crowd a momentum builder that can translate to something tangible if he chose to run in 2029? right? And if the UP is going to govern well up to 2029, then I don't see why they should be concerned about how many persons went to the airport to greet former President Weah, right? We need to be careful how we try to measure attendance or turnout at an airport to what the actual issues are that are going to be on the ground in 2029. Now, once we pay attention to those issues, then our actions leading up to 2029 will inform how we react to the attendance. So people should be marking school now. If I were if an active political actor who's interested in what's going to happen in 2029, if I have a candidate or a potential presidential candidate that I intend to support, I'll be marking school now, right? I'll be paying attention. I'll be making sure that the actions we take today would discourage anybody, right, who intends to follow that crowd in 2029, right? Mind you, we also need to admit to ourselves that those who attended that welcoming ceremony, a bulk of that crowd are diehard CDC people. Nobody, I mean, there are people who follow crowd, right? Who just want to be free, who just want to be part of the action, who just want to say, oh, what's happening? Okay, President Weah is coming today, right? But again, majority of those people are people who are hopeful. People who believe that former President Weah is still the answer to Liberia's many years of backwardness. You see? So while we may want to be dismissive, we also need to start paying attention. Paying attention in the sense that if you have a political candidate that you intend to support and you know that person is now well positioned, now you should start marking school, you should start taking notes to ensure that in 2029, if that person raises his or her hand, people will recognize that hand and galvanize around it to ensure that whatsoever they are pursuing becomes, a reality. Other than that, if we just say it's just one of those days, President Weah returned to Liberia and people chose to welcome him heartily, so we need to be able to balance it. People are attending. President Weah still has the crowd factor. We can't eliminate that. President Weah played soccer for this country. Not only did he play soccer, he was a formidable soccer player. He rose to the highest levels. Soccer is our biggest crowd puller in terms of sports. And he rose to the echelon of that. So we can't dismiss, we can't remove President Weah from crowd. Let's forget about that aspect. But how do we make sure that those who are following that crowd cannot be moved to think that if I have a candidate, they will all follow only because I think I'm supposed to be, for example, a movement for progressive change candidate, right? Or MCC's candidate. You have to earn it. And that crowd is an indicator of what could happen if we're not paying attention. I mean, that is how I see it. I'm not going to be dismissive of what happened today because it would be ignorant to think that President Weah doesn't still have it, So we just need to pay attention.
Thank you. So, I mean, the major reason you are here tonight is for us to discuss the recent agreement between the Total Energies and that of the government of Liberia. So on September 16, just to carry you a little backward, on September 16 we saw a report or a release from the executive mansion that the president welcomed the landmark signing of production sharing contracts between the Liberia Petroleum Regulation Authority, that of the Total Energies, covering 4 offshore blocks in the Liberian basin. What should we Liberians know about this? Those of us that are clueless about it, that has no idea, what are the benefits of this and what should we know about them? Lighting our minds tonight, Chief.
Thank you. And just so you know, most recent development, the government also announced that they've signed additional PSCs, production sharing contracts, with Oranto/Atlas Energies. And according to the press release, it is valued at around $800 million in terms of investment. So each block will see a $200 million investment over time. But any well-meaning Liberian should welcome this. Let's take a step back to the days of Madame Sirleaf. We saw how investments from Chevron, investments from Anadarko, investments from African Petroleum, investments from ExxonMobil, how they spurred economic activities and drove demand within the economy during the time, you know, they were actively engaged in their exploration activities. So this is a welcoming news, because just the fact that our basin and the sector is going to get active again are signs that we are making progress. It is difficult for people who do investment to come into a climate that they don't feel is safe, that they don't feel is stable. So these investment news are welcoming and indicative of the kind of stability we've seen within the last 2 years under the leadership of President Boakai. So that is good. And what excites me more is the fact that the CEO who's leading this charge is someone who's been in the sector for a very long time. He understands all the layers within the sector. And he's also very knowledgeable when it comes to what it means to be a national oil company and what it also means to spearhead that investment element of the oil and gas sector for Liberia. So that is what really excites me, because I think we have a core of leaders who we believe that can really drive sustained development within the sector. What does this mean for Liberians? That was your question, right? It means that if these activities kick off, mind you, we still have a long way to go. We still have a process where the president has to sign, it has to be ratified, and it has to become law. And then the partners, how we describe them, the partners now will have to do a host of other things for money to begin to flow. For example, they need to submit work plans, they need to submit budgets, they need to submit all different sorts of requirements that will be needed by, for example, EPA. What will be the requirement for environmental and safety concerns, right? For example, royalty payments, what will be the requirements? And because we haven't seen the full detail of what the letters are in the contracts, we are hopeful to see something really progressive, because the the way the new law is structured, it gives Liberian citizens as a whole what we call a 5% interest. And then NOCAL, that is also the managing person or the managing entity for that interest, is also will be also well positioned to manage that for the Liberians. And then there's also a 5% what we call carrot interest. Carrot interest is that is the one that the National Oil Company holds as its share that it manages also for being the investment arm for the government in the sector. So these are good news. Before, the old law we have did not include those provisions, wherein the Liberian citizens themselves will benefit directly in addition to whatsoever economic growth and development that follows what the as the sector begins to rejuvenate. So these are good news that come out of these announcements.
Great. So now I think more is to be discussed on this issue. People that don't know about the entire conversation, how are the blocks arranged? Because when I saw the release from the executive mansion, they talk about the different kind of blocks, and I saw like 4 blocks within the press release. What price effect will this have on Liberia if the entire contract starts? What will be the effect on the common citizen themselves?
So effects on common citizen. Let's look at both excuse me, both negative and positive, but the positive outweighs the negatives. The first thing we might want to consider in terms of impact will be inflationary, right? You will have increased demand, you will have increase in the money supply, and then you will have pressure on local goods and services, right? So that alone will put pressure on the prices on the market, and that could have adverse effects if we don't control that. Another thing could be the fact that if you have a huge expatriate population, there are issues with cost of living, right? Cost of living will tend to rise because of that expatriate population. Rent will increase, cost of certain social services will go up, and then the common man that cannot necessarily afford will start to struggle as well. So we take all those into consideration. But then the positive thing is what we call local content. And local content also has its own downsides. Local content, in a sense that we could see local industries develop, and that could lead to empowerment of small and medium-sized businesses, right? They will be able to supply the required goods and services that these exploration companies will need to carry out their operations. And then there's also the possibility of employment, right? People could get employed. For example, if Oranto chose to set up shop in Monrovia, they would need manpower, and people who are qualified get employment, and that relieves burden on central government because somebody who they could potentially hire now has an opportunity to get hired by an international firm. But the only thing with local content is we got to understand what we call supply capabilities and then demand requirements. So supply capabilities, all right? I'm sorry, supply requirements and demand capabilities. So supply requirements, what would the exploration companies need, right? These are their requirements. Maybe they will need foremen, maybe they will need welders, maybe they will need divers, right? Maybe they will need certain goods and services that may not be readily available on our market. Then we'll have demand capabilities. So do our local businesses have the capacity to supply these goods and services? So that's where we strike a balance between local content development and the potential that we could see foreign businesses start to benefit from contracts even within our own regime. So we need to be able to balance those two. But overall, there is a high chance that if done correctly this time around, the Liberian people and the country as a whole will benefit. And I have no doubt in the current team of leaders that are spearheading both the regulatory authority and the National Oil Company.
Great. So, I mean, I don't know whether this links with how natural resources explorations are done, but I want to ask this whether you know how long will it take for the executive and that of the legislature to come to one understanding for this entire project to kick off? Do you think it's in a period of 3 years, 4 years,
So,
5 years? Will it happen under this regime or maybe another regime?
so it depends what you're talking about kickoff, right? Are you talking about the exploration programs resuming,
Yes.
or are you talking about ratification?
The,
Right.
the exploration program resuming, linking with the ratification part of everything.
So it takes time. It takes it would take nothing less than 3 years for active drilling program to begin in Liberia. It's not something that is going to happen immediately. It's not an event that, okay, as soon as we ratify the contracts, they become law, then we start exploring immediately. No, it's going to take time because there are several steps involved to even get into to deciding to drill. For example, you will need permits, right? And those environmental permits come with studies, right? They come with environmental and social studies. They come with impact analysis, right? So it's going to take, just but those studies alone take nothing less than 6 months to do, right? Before you get a team of exploration and geologists to come in to begin the program, because the program is not just something you commence. It has to also follow processes, right? You will need people to go and build your rig. You will need people to do other studies that are also associated with risk management. You will need people to also come and do studies that will understand the local regimes, right? For example, what kind of staff do you hire? What the requirement for bringing in foreign staff? So the people also need permits. You will need, the labor issue is also there with the Ministry of Labor. So it's a lot that goes into commencing a drilling program.
So thank you. That I was coming to that part. That will be my last question on the issue. Then we go to Grace. So people listening, many a times we do not prepare ourselves, and when the opportunity comes, we are led to be maybe the bag ball in the opportunity. So Liberians that are listening to you right now, what could be the necessary step that you can advise for them to take? That when the company comes, they will be prepared and they will be ready for the job market.
I think the National Oil Company and the regulator have a very robust scholarship program going. I saw quite recently how they conducted just this last round of scholars that were, selected to study in myriad careers. That's the first place. I think a trained workforce is an opportunity to really engage with the sector and to be at the forefront of managing whether there are activities required of the National Oil Company, there are activities required of the regulator, so that Liberians themselves are at the forefront of managing these things. But it comes with knowledge and also comes with experience as well. That is why I believe the regulator and the oil company might be thinking about how they. I believe they inserted transferring of skills, right? So we call that knowledge transfer. Even if the people don't have the requisite experience, we can have a framework wherein you bring your people in, but they get to train local citizens on how to do certain things. For example, if you wanted to be a welder, but you don't have the welding skills, right? We can say, okay, can we deploy maybe 5 persons on your rig, show them and train them through apprenticeship, how they too can become welders, right? So there are many ways we can take advantage of the program. So it's not just limited to formal education. You can also have apprenticeship that people can take advantage of. All in all, we need to prepare ourselves. This is an opportunity that doesn't come around so easily, especially with everything that is happening with clean energy and the likes, right? So we have this time now. Make sure we have a trained local workforce, and the National Oil Company has been engaged with doing that. They've been training people. It's just about making sure that they're also placed when they return from these trainings so that they can get the first-hand experience to really be the leaders that will be driving this new revolution in the energy sector.
Thank you so much. DK is here. I know this is a long conversation. As it goes, we'll still be bringing you here so that we can have more of these conversations. So to sanitize our people as to what
Is
happened.
Robert leaving?
No, he's not.
Oh, we got.
You want me to leave now?
No. I just want to tell those guys. Apparently, they may not know you well. Robert, when you want to talk, about veteran, don't you turn your own way. I mean, turn Robert. I can see that on.
Okay.
So, like Mafasi, Robert is one of our best. So, I know when Robert was at his prime, most of you were still babies. So, when you want to talk about veteran, the other beginner can be making noise whole day for Tabata after he was still in there in the village. So, Robert were people who we could look up to. Yeah. So Robert is one of our best. So when you see Robert here, don't mind him, you can just be hiding here, identity. So as the show move on, I will tell you guys more about Robert. Robert, the madam to the hospital, I can say the other one.
My man. No more speaking.
Okay, then let me keep it eye on it. So lastly, Joe, I think Josiah Goose, why a phone name Josiah Goose, right? Josiah, Josiah is the new chair for the Sir Joseph Party. A political leader was in Nima recently, and Josiah is from Nima. Josiah has been defending his boss position on the recent visit at Meta. So Josiah will join us today. They're drilling him some more to know his position. Other than that, I'm good. That's what Robert was talking about.
My man, we have 8 blocks with PSCs already signed.
But I thought they said you were bringing Vincent.
Yeah, Vincent, for some reason, he having difficulty, unexpectedly. So he couldn't join. He just sent me a text actually to tell me that
is he still supporting the George Weah return? Because
well, we were not going to discuss political issues yet. Somebody asked me about George, my position. Junior had asked me that I already gave him my position on the crowd. And said you want us to replay that, but for now we're trying to see if
no. I'm not talking to you directly, Robert. I said it's Vincent celebrating George Weah return, not you.
Well, I can't speak for Vincent, unfortunately. Vincent has his own mind of his own. I mean, he has his own mind. Whether he's supporting George Weah's return or not, I can't say. But I know he was coming on the show for us to talk oil and gas, and for us to see how that this new wave of PSCs will benefit our people. So that was what he was going to join me to discuss. Vincent and I studied together in the UK, and he also his concentration was also in oil and gas. So I thought it was going to be a good thing for him to partner with me for us to discuss it. Unfortunately, that didn't happen yet.
Thank you, Azoyadomi and Robert Sonkali. Chris, let's hear you. Over to you now. Your 2 questions.
Thank you. I don't know where it was from California, from Zia or from District 5.
My man. Sonkali from District 6. It's from Mali.
They met from Zwatu Mali. You were small when they met.
Not from Zwatu, my man from Zwatu.
The man from Zwatu Mali. Hey, how you want to do the thing?
Hey, you want give me tag and then give me Saleh and Mali.
So then you just want your man completed, Robert?
Not the same man, but Liberia is a patriarchal society. It's not matriarchal.
Robert, can I ask you this about I come in, Chris? Robert, can I ask you this about Zwali? I've been hearing that Zwali people don't eat senior. Is that true?
Malay people. People we don't eat senior. That's too slippery for us.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I will take a step back a little when when you were talking about.
Chris, I'm coming. Robert, can you please ask you whether they can eat chicken? You guys can eat chicken?
We don't eat chicken. Give me a quiet cow. Wait, we a cow.
Talk
cow.
Okay, thank you. And my question will take a little bit, step by a little bit. A new contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what will be the effect or benefit for the people in Boyakuda, the people in Do district, the people in Granjide. I'm speaking from this question is coming about from local experience. When local king people say Liberians will benefit. At the end of the day, if we do solve it, we're 2% or 1.5% of the population that live in Monrovia that has the opportunity to work with local. When you look at the scholarship you talk about, how many persons, when the recruitment time comes, that they go in the very county or districts, that they go to District 6, interpreter, in announcing interpreter, say, okay, local have this scholarship they apply. How many persons have been selected from those districts or those counties that we from, that benefited from local scholarship, coming to this new agreement the government is talking about? Do you think that the people in those villages will have the people that influence the economic, or only for the high, for the upper class who live in Monrovia? How do you analyze that between local experience and compared to this? Thank you.
So I'm not representing the National Oil Company, but I can speak from experience, right? We have to understand that Montserrado of recent post-war Montserrado has become an epicenter for geographical balance, meaning representatives from almost every corner of Liberia, one way or the other, resides in Montserrado. Now, when NOCAL launched the scholarship program, they sought to achieve that geographical balance. So you will notice that, for example, I benefited from a NOCAL scholarship. It wasn't because I was from a privileged background, right? At the time, the scholarship was based on merit. So merit and that balance geographically. Even my understanding now is that this new team of NOCAL leaders are also trying their best to strike that geographical balance, meaning they're not selecting one group of people from one region, from one district to be scholarship beneficiaries. They are trying their best to balance that out. When you talk about how the person in Dole will benefit from the activities of oil and gas, you need to understand that these offshore blocks are not situated in Montserrat. These offshore blocks are situated way outside of Montserrat, in Riverside, in Maryland, in Sino. That's what they call it. Some of the blocks are in the Harper Basin. The Harper Basin stretches across those areas, right? So let's take, for example, Total Energy struggle, meaning the oil, we call it black gold, right? Total Energy for oil, right? Do you not think all those counties connected to those drilling areas will benefit immensely from their programs? Mind you, as soon as they find oil, the next thing they will start talking about how can we commercialize it, right? To commercialize the oil, now they need to start building pipelines. Those areas, those geographical areas, those hinterland areas will benefit immensely because those pipelines will pass in their territories. And for the pipeline to pass in their territory, those people will have to pay surface rental fees. Those people will have to pay different environmental and social benefit fees, right? Even if they will be degrading the environment, they will also have to pay those fees so that the local people can benefit. Economically, if the oil companies do well, government does well, right? The ripple effect is to see development in the various counties. I believe that it will also, spread to areas where development hasn't really reached. The current government is trying as much as possible to build roads. Don't you think if they find oil and they can commercialize it, it will be a big investment boom that will also affect all the leeward counties? I believe so, even in subsequent years to come. Because, mind you, oil and gas programs are not just 5, 6, 7, 8 years programs. These are long-term programs. And I believe if done correctly, our people stand to benefit immensely. Today, we have hospital in Tapeta, the Jackson Hebdo Hospital funded by the Chevron program. Can we not point to that as a benefit to Nima County? We have other areas where people have benefited immensely from the program during the Manaseli regime under Nukal. Today, the JFK hospital is struggling because the program that funded it no longer exists. That was an oil company program. So I believe in time past, the management under Nukal tried their best to ensure that people who were not directly involved with cutting paychecks also, one way or the other, had some experience some form of impact from the oil and gas activities at the time. And I can go on to list so many of them. The program, I believe, will be even better because the president is committed to ensuring that he moves people from destitution to a place where everybody can feel that they belong in the country Liberia.
So Robert, I wanted to ask the quick. Can I please make follow up to your question?
Go ahead.
Robert, I am not. I have zero knowledge about how the whole oil team look like. And when you talk about oil, it's just my only reference will be like, okay, what are they all doing for the people in Nigeria, in Libya, and all other places in Africa that I know about? That at least, let's say our closer neighbor, Nigeria, that are very close to us. Is they all really benefiting the people of Nigeria, our superpower? And lastly, in your explanation, you said the Nukal leadership then. Now, if you say the Noka leadership, then the leadership that will honor Robert Sally, is that the one that you are praising? Is that the Noka leadership you're talking about?
Absolutely.
Robert, I don't know whether you were working with them or you just got a scholarship to go. That Noka leadership went bankrupt.
It did
That
not.
Noka leader, that
It did
particular
not.
leadership.
It did not go bankrupt. So we
Robert,
can have this argument.
so
And
yeah, so what? Well, yeah, so you are there. I just want to finish my question there because you
okay,
have
finish your
knowledge on
question
it.
because you're
Yeah.
making
So
absolute
because my
statements now.
thing is when this particular Robert Shelly leadership, I know there was some misapplication, mismanagement that the mother had to take the blame for that. So Shelly, who said her son was doing pro bono job, that particular institution went dead and she took responsibility. And you are saying on the contrary that, well, I just want you to clarify to me. Like I said, I have zero knowledge on this.
And I'm going to be on record. At least people can listen to this show later on. Are you done?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the National Oil Company of Liberia never went bankrupt. And you can put me on record for that. I did not just benefit from the scholarship. I was an employee of the National Oil Company, and I'm not speaking as a representative of the National Oil Company. Since you brought up a conversation about bankruptcy, I just thought to have that conversation, right? So bankruptcy is a legal term, right? There are a lot of things you're supposed to happen before you declare yourself bankrupt. The court don't even declare you bankrupt. No one person can just understand and say today, oh, because I can't get money in my bank account, or because I can't pay my creditor, me a bankrupt, right? So let's get that straight. They got different forms of bankruptcy, and people I didn't listen to, haven't heard the recording that Manaseli stated that the National Oil Company were bankrupt, right? But let's go back to the Robert Sirleaf regime. When Robert Sirleaf, and I'm not defending him, I'm just speaking the facts. When Robert Sirleaf was chairman of the board of the National Oil Company of Liberia, the National Oil Company of Liberia never bankrupt. He left over $10 million in over more, and I don't know the exact amount, but he left a liquid National Oil Company of Liberia. Let me not, I will eliminate the figure issue, but he left a very, and I will quantify that, right? He left a very, very liquid National Oil Company of Liberia. Robert Sirleaf left the National Oil Company in 2013. When did we hear about bankruptcy assertions in Liberia? 2014, 2015, 2016. That's when people started hearing about bankruptcy. Robert Sirleaf had long left the National Oil Company. He was not nowhere around, right? So I'm giving you facts. You can agree or not. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just trying to lay the information for you to do your own research. I'm not trying to convince you, right? Robert Sirleaf was no longer near anything called National Oil Company of Liberia. He had already left. Who was the board chairperson when he left? They started somebody called Siwa Cooper, right? Who was, I think, the legal person to Madam Sirleaf or something. And then later on, changed hands. But again, he left a very liquid company. When did the National Oil Company begin to struggle with liquidity, with cash flow? That is what people say, oh, they were bankrupt. You can struggle with liquidity. You can struggle with paying your debt. It's a normal course of business operations. That does not mean that you are bankrupt. After the declaration of bankruptcy, NOCA continued until George Weah came into power. A bankrupt company will
Robert, I want you to help me. You will continue. I want you to help me. Is NOCA an oil company or NOCA is an institution established by the government of Liberia?
NOCA is a state-owned entity. A state-owned entity is an entity established under the laws of Liberia by the government of Liberia, but operate like a private entity. Right? So the government, under the PFN laws, right, gave NOCAL fiduciary responsibilities, meaning they to also report their operations, and they are responsible for whatsoever that during the operations they are responsible, right? So you have fiduciary responsibility to report, and you have fiduciary responsibility to due diligence and all the other beautiful things, right? So NOCAL as an entity operated within that sphere, and NOCAL was an entity consistently contributed to government budget. NOCAL as an entity operated within the confines of the PFN law. You may argue whatsoever. You may argue that, oh, we have rumors. Look, as an oil company, the name is flattering in itself, right? Because the expectation is that there's money there, there's this there, there's that there. I mean, and there are instances where bad practices happened. Nobody is negating that fact. But to argue that the company went bankrupt, I left the National Oil Company of Liberia 2014 when they were bankrupt.
Okay, let me ask you.
I mean, 2016. I left the National Oil Company of Liberia 2016 when they were bankrupt. I was taking pay until I left.
Yeah, okay, Robert, let me ask you some few questions.
So the whole argument about bankruptcy should be thrown out.
Okay,
it can be
because this is a deception. This is a way the National Oil Company has been managed. It is hard time for us to erect these checkpoints so that people understand that whatever assertion anybody made was incorrect.
Robert, you are here tonight, and the reason why you are here
I'll be combative over the issue because I know the facts.
Yes, that's why you are here, to be combative, to tell the people the real thing. Now, in 2014,
yes,
did NOCAL fail to sign any other offshore sharing block?
Fail to? So yes. NOCAL as an institution does not single-handedly assign or sell offshore blocks. It is a process. For example, thank God you are now here, and you are seeing how the processes lead to awarding blocks.
So
right?
In 2014, now let me put a question this way. In 2014, did this similar process started in 2014?
Well, there were a series of interests from partners who wanted to be Mayuna. In 2014, we also have players in our block. We still have ExxonMobil occupying Block 13. We still had an active lease with Chevron. I think it expired at that same year. No, in 2013. Their lease expired in 2013. We also had other players who expressed interest, right? But because of the complexities that are involved with making sure that people that are awarded black have both the financial and technical expertise, competence to operate in your waters. You're not just awarding them black because they bring you money. They should also be able to execute the contract, meaning they should have the capacity to do so, not just financially, but technically as well. And they should also have historical records to prove that, mind you, we are in a frontier country. Frontier country means we haven't discovered, oh yeah, this is a new thing, right? So not anybody can operate in frontier waters. You need people who have the history and the expertise of doing so successfully. So not just anybody that comes to you and expresses interest means that you award them contracts. And plus, it has to go through both executive ratification and legislative ratification before we come into law.
Yeah, there where we coming to now, because
so there will be rumors here and there that people were bidding, people were expressing interest, people were bringing in partners and wanted to get offshore blocks.
Now,
the process
I have been hearing the rumors since 2014 that NOCAL went bankrupt.
And I'm dispelling that rumor for you now.
So you are making a disclaimer. And I also want
to know. It's not a disclaimer.
It's the fact, right?
It's an assertion. It's a positive assertion. And to disclaim means that
Yeah.
something went wrong and you're trying to correct
No,
it.
no, but Robert, when he says a fact, that there's another fact that
It's a truth.
Noka have financial mismanagement and
No.
malfeasance that Ellen Johnson said he took responsibility of because her son was there as head.
DK.
So you see, they from the point of Madam President's expression to the time her son was in charge, two disconnecting facts. Because he was
Robert, yes, your mistakes. You said Robert Salif, now you're on the Robert, left 2014. But Robert Salif, don't roll Noka to sponsor his campaign for the senatorial seat.
He left 2014. Point of correction. And everybody here, I think we'll have the recording. I did not say he left 2014. I said when the president was expressing her, I didn't hear, according to the hearsay, when the president was expressing her assumption of responsibilities for malfeasance at Noka, Mr. Sirleaf was nowhere near Noka. And I said Mr. Sirleaf left a very liquid national oil company.
Now, Robert, Chris, you asked your last question. I beg you. I want to link this.
And we can go on and talk about the issue. I get one day.
Yeah, I know, but I want to link the conversation with the current development, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm afraid, the documents I'm reading is a similar process started in 2014, but it didn't yield any result. Now, what led to that? That's my concern. And many of the reasons that I'm seeing, many of the reasons that I'm seeing here, I want you to make the clarification on them. In 2014, or between the period of 2014 and 2015, did the Liberian Senate ever call for a forensic financial audit in Noka that led to Noka laying down order for staff?
That is an interesting way to put a reorganization program. So when responsible people take on leadership, the first action is to evaluate your cost structure and your what we call going concern in accounting. Can this business continue into the future given its current state of affairs? Right? Any responsible person will be eager to know if this is a yes or a no. If going concern is under threat, then that responsible party now sits down and begins to evaluate the options they have onto them. We gotta be honest, Noka was a overly bloated company. Noka's payroll was not sustainable over the long term. So what happened when the new leadership took over in 2014? They decided to do a going concern review and realized that Noka's cost structure versus its revenue intake was a mismatch, grossly mismatched. So they embarked on evaluating what can be done so that the company can survive. That was how you saw the mass layoffs. And mind you, people were not just laid off. People were laid off and given severance. Meaning if you spend 5 years here, we pay you for your service. So there was not just a reckless exercise that took place. It was a structured, well-organized exercise where the Ministry of Labor was even involved. The Assistant Minister for Labor Affairs was the one who oversaw the activities of the restructure in terms of making sure that it was fair and the severance calculations were correct and it met labor laws in the Republic. So all the gossips that go around are all misfounded. Only because the oil company had been in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. And I get it. There were people who were just disenchanted for the fact that they were not working with the National Oil Company, and they had built this assumption that there's so much money in the National Oil Company, but it's not going around enough for the Liberian people to benefit.
Thank you. So, Chris.
So are you happy now that you know why the company had to restructure?
No, I'm coming there. CMA, I'm not yet convinced.
It was just based on pure thinking, logical and strategic thinking, so that the oil company can survive. Meanwhile, if that had not happened, then the real bankruptcy problem might have been declared even long before the president had declared whatsoever the situation.
It is where I'm coming. There's information, the document in my possession. Let's share with you right now. I think I only saw the information. Let's share with you. In August 2015, the management of the oil company, I say August, you just Google right on your phone, or you just in the website, just check on it. They were announced by the management, not the person who was before that. In August 2015, were announced by the management that Local have gone bankrupt. They told the Liberian Senate, you can use the phone now to check on the information. I will see the website to check on it. And now he said Local now went bankrupt. The reason they went bankrupt have been outlined in those documents. Now you can say don't go bankrupt.
Okay,
which perspective someone will understand, because the management of Local said in August 2015 they went bankrupt. The management 2015 August. Now he said Local now went bankrupt. Where are we? How to reconcile this information? Thank you.
Let me take time to define what bankruptcy is. People, I don't have the document you are referencing, but there's a possibility, because I was still at the oil company in 2015, and there's no way that a representation would have been made to the Senate or to any newspaper, and with the leadership that were in at the time, to go to a hearing and declare that they were bankrupt. These are people that can vouch for anything. They will never use that word called the bankruptcy. Now, what bankruptcy is? A legal process through which individuals or businesses who cannot repay their outstanding debts seek relief from some or all of those debts. It is designated to give them a fresh start. Did you keep the key word? Did you grasp it? Legal. To be bankrupt, it has to be a legal declaration by a court that is clothed without authority to do so. So that's the basis. Let's set that baseline, right? Nowhere between the time I was in Liberia to the time I left Liberia did NOCAL go to a debt court for relief of their debt through a bankruptcy proceeding. No time.
One more 11 the Okuma. What year?
2016, April 31st, April 30th.
Yeah. Can you please do a research on your phone right now?
I'm telling you.
When bankrupt.
Let's go to your next question.
Go to the next question. NOCAL was up to the time I left NOCAL. Listen, I'm giving you information up to the time I left NOCAL. NOCAL still have students on scholarship. Know that NOCAL still has students on scholarship. At the various universities and technical schools, NOCAL still has students there. NOCAL still have people on international scholarships. Up to the time I left, NOCAL was still paying their rent. NOCAL was still paying their debtors. NOCAL was still honoring their payroll.
Okay,
so thank you. Company still do all these things.
Okay. I am convinced, but wait, it'll be another discussion another time.
I don't have to convince you. I'm just telling you the basis of bankruptcy.
Yeah. So my next question would be, as a former employee at NOCAL, maybe in a senior staff era or in a managerial era, looking at this new contract the government trying to bring or signing, right? If Ralph Sonkari, if he has called a phone.
Ralph?
Yeah, Robert. Okay. Robert, I think Robert.
Don't be calling him.
Okay, so if they call you today as senior staff up to that era, or to give your own analysis or your own advice where local failed in the past to look at your analysis on it to recommend to the new company or the training store will take over. What could be your advice in those area of local field that you think the new one people coming up or the new company could improve on to work on? What would be your advice?
I think they like I said in my intro, the current group of leaders at the National Oil Company, especially the Chief Executive Officer, Fabian, understands what it is to manage an efficient company. If you asked Fabian today, he would tell you the same thing. Nocal will never bankrupt. So did Nocal have a challenge that it needed to address through restructuring? Yes. Because at the time, Nocal didn't have the attractive $100 million Chevron contract that was already expiring. Nocal didn't have the attractive ExxonMobil surface rentals and all the different fees that come in through the PSCs that were already expiring. So Fabian stands on the position of experience to know that he can run a bloated National Oil Company in Liberia. He can run a payroll that is 90% of his total revenue. He understands that. He can run an institution that will survive if it does not have a sustained means of income. He understands that. So it's just about managing costs so that this company survives indefinitely, because that's the goal when you set up a company. Except you set up a shell company where you won't expect that after a certain time you're supposed to die. Right? But these things are essential, not just to the National Oil Company of Liberia, but to any institution for that matter. Managing costs so that you are able to survive in the long term, so that you are sustainable. And Fabian understands that. So I don't see where I can give you advice on what to do now, right? What could we do differently is to identify as a National Oil Company, if we have the capacity, financial wherewithal, to identify investment vehicles that can bring in sustained cash flow. The company generated a lot of money over time, but the leadership didn't think that we needed to invest to get returns. The assumption was that the cash flow will be consistent. People will continue to pay surface rental. We believe that we'll discover oil and our situation will get even better. Right?
Thank you.
So that is where I will go.
Thank you. Now, one of the major aspect of this entire thing falls within the hands of the executive and that of the legislator or the legislature.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem we've been facing in Liberia with our investors comes from mostly the affected communities.
Mm-hmm.
Always time we experience problem between the affected communities and that of our investors.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the current issue between ArcelorMittal and that of the people of Nima or the affected communities, the lawmakers put their interests forward instead of the interest of the people. And when the deal is signed, you do not see anything there to benefit the affected community directly. Now, you, Zoyado Mia Robertson Kali, having knowledge on this, what could be your recommendation if the MDA is to be signed tomorrow? What could be your recommendation to the legislature or the executive that this is what you're supposed to put in the MDA for it to benefit the affected communities or the people of Liberia?
So you mean a production sharing contract, right?
Yes.
Again, that has to do with contract enforcement. No matter how beautifully crafted the contract is, if people are not committed to its enforcement, nothing happens. We have the typical example now, ArcelorMittal. I'm calling it now ArcelorMittal versus Senator Twyen, excuse me. I'm styling it ArcelorMittal versus Senator Twyen, right? Senator Twyon's case is simple. We have provisions in the contract that you haven't even lived up to. You need to start delivering on them. Simple. So if the production sharing contract will stipulate requirements for affected communities, our people should ensure that whatsoever way they're benefited, they're affected, whether it's through environmental degradation, whether it's through air pollution, whether it's through species, biodiversity damage, there should be provisions that hold the oil companies responsible so that they can, for example, if they have to do something to clean the environment, they should be under obligation to do so. But if we have weak enforcement, of course, we'll be exploited. Affected communities will still be the way they will be because we'll have no mechanism to hold the oil companies responsible. Even if they're clearly defined that if you did this, the punitive measures will be this, and you don't have ways of enforcing them, nothing happens. So again, it's up to us, right, to hold our people who we partner with, who come and flout our laws, responsible. There is no way provisions in a sharing agreement can be abandoned and we just allow it to happen without any actions on our part. We hold ourselves responsible. The partners will always want to be at the advantage. They will always want to benefit no matter where they stand. It is your responsibility and our obligation to ensure that we are not abandoning our responsibilities only because certain group of people will just get chicken change and then cheat everybody else.
Great. Now, Oranto has been operating in some African countries like
I've been
Uganda.
with this person for a while. I don't know why it took that long.
But anyway, the question is here now.
Yeah,
I'll put in two for Oranto has been operating in other countries like Uganda and other places. What have been their direct operation that you can, let's say, how can you rate them and welcoming them to our country to operate?
I'll come in. Give me a minute. Just responding to somebody. Yeah. I'm not going to rate Oranto because the local contexts under which they operate are different, right? Oranto by itself has the technical expertise in frontier countries, right? And you can't fault them for coming to Liberia. They're a qualified company if they met the requirements under the direct negotiation that was carried out by the petroleum regulator, and they found Oranto fit to operate in our blocks. I don't fault their judgment. Our responsibility now should be the same conversation we were just having. Can Oranto flout all the requirements in the PSC and go free? Or are we going to ensure that whatsoever we are doing in partnership with Oranto seeks the best interest of our people? What do you think? I'm not going to look at Oranto's operations in Uganda and assume that is the same thing they're going to do here. You can use it as a basis for evaluating how they operate here, but you can't assume that is going to be the same thing they're going to do here, right? So it will be incorrect to say that, right? I would think our sector leaders know better, and they're going to make sure that all the right things are done in the interest of the country. So I wouldn't single-handedly look at how Oranto had operated in the past and then draw an assumption that they're going to do the same thing. You can use it as a measure to hold them accountable in the instance they did similar thing, because you already have an understanding of what they've done before. But to assume that they could do the same thing, I mean, they're going to do the same thing here, will not be a good judgment to make.
Okay, great. Now the next question is this has to do with exploration.
Exploration, yes.
Have there been any other exploration done to know that our soil or our block has oil in it, that we can have it at high esteem, that there will be a contract between Oranto and the government of Liberia? Because what is it now is that there will be testing. Are we sure that after the testing we will have oil in our soil?
So nobody brings millions of dollars into your country blindfoldedly, right? Every program has its own expectations, right? That's why they call it exploration program. Now we're in the exploratory phase. If everything goes according to plan, we will get into the exploratory phase, right? Assuming everything went according to the way the sector leaders are planning it. We can say that because previous programs didn't discover profitable oil or commercial oil, means that this current program will not discover it, right? Mind you, African Petroleum announced before that they have found oil, right? And that announcement went all around globally. Unfortunately, it wasn't rich or commercial enough to get to production. You see it? Plus, the features in our basin are similar to the features in other basins. For example, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Ghana, the Jubilee Field, similar geological architecture, right? So we are betting on that as well to say that our Harper Basin holds a lot of prospects, given all the seismic data that they've analyzed. So we are hopeful this time around. I'm not pessimistic. I'm not going to jinx this thing, right? I'm hoping that we can truly discover commercial quantity oil so that we can begin to reap the benefits of the efforts as far back as the 1950s. Mind you, our exploration program just didn't start today. It's as old as the 1950s. We've drilled multiple wells. Well, so we are hopeful that this time around is going to be different.
Thank you. Zoya Domia Robert Sonkale, I want to appreciate you for being here tonight. I like that your dialect name, Zoya Domia.
Yeah, you GMP, my man. You're Sri Lankan man.
No, that ping, no, ain't no ping, you see? So, Robert, I mean, I really appreciate you. We got one of our guests in the back too. So, in 2 minutes, give us your parting comment, Chief.
I think I have one more question for the people.
Huh?
Okay.
I have one question.
Again?
I'm going to tell people.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And when you were speaking, when it comes to the supply demand and maybe the consumer, I was thinking in that era. If today, let's zoom. Now, Liberia, the oil we have, it can be for commercial activities, right? Do you think, because DA asked that question, he asked it a different way, do we think it will be a blessing to Liberia that they have all? But it looks like it's a difficult thing. I don't want to use the word curse, but I mean a difficult thing for the citizens to benefit of Nigerians are case study. Look at those countries. Come to Liberia where we haven't put any system in place that will curtail if we have the all that's is commercial. Do you think that the people, the common people, will enjoy the immunity, or it will just be for certain class of people, the high class people, the elite in the society? What could be a take on that?
I don't think so. I mean, in every society, there will be people who will always benefit more than others. That's a reality of life, right? You don't expect, for example, somebody who's a government official, right? And who's well positioned within the sector to be the same as one guy who's selling a little with a market down Waterside, right? Societal equity doesn't go that far. But where it is equitable is where the man who's selling a Wheeler market can afford to feed his children. Will get customers to come and buy a little cigarette or a little candy that he's selling at an appreciable price that will make him to get an extra margin that he can use to either expand that business or put it into something else, right? So that is where we are hopeful, because the current administration seems to be committed to making sure that everybody at least can benefit from the pie. If not handsomely like everybody is expecting, but to some extent. At least I can get pipe-borne water running into my house. I don't have to go to the well to stand in long queues before I can get safe drinking water. At least I can get stable electricity to the extent that I don't have to burn my late generator, and that the rate is low enough that I can afford. So even if I sell in my late with a market, I can get water in my house. I can get electricity every day, every night, and I'm able to use that machine late with a market to send my children to school. Right? That's societal equity, wherein the least man can afford basic social services and at the same time educate his children and take care of his family, where he doesn't have to do anything that will cause him to get into trouble. Similarly, it is hopeful that the government official who is also well positioned can continue to get his benefits and not be tempted to suppress the common man. So he doesn't have to do anything extra to steal from the common man in order to fund his way of life. That is where we want to see ourselves as a society. That is where equity steps in. Equity doesn't mean that the men are up there and the men are down here will be equal. Equity means that the men are down there can continue to do that thing and still live well, where society still appreciates his efforts, and he doesn't necessarily have to be government official before he can be recognized. Equity is where the men are selling a Wheeler market can afford to take a child to good hospital when a child gets sick. We don't necessarily have to go to stand to that government official to begging for money to carry a child to hospital. Equity is where I can afford to send my child to the school that is within my means. Within my means means that I can't be making 500 out there. I want to send my child to what is expensive school in Liberia. You pick on one school,
Cardinal University.
Cottington. They are complaining that are suffering. No, you are trying to live outside of your means, so you will suffer. But if you are living equitably, you will be able to afford to send your child to University of Liberia or having to go stand to that government official and begging to say, "Oh, my son gets school fee today." And education is for everybody, not a select few. That is how I see equity. I don't see equity as a situation where in certain group of people, they just benefiting, and we here will not do. If you can say a labor market and send your child to school, get good hospital, get pipeline social services, get good education, why would you complain? But inequity is wherein one person as a government official collects everything that belongs to everybody else and wants to live the best life, while the man in the market cannot afford full money for a children after selling whole day, because the economy is not working for everybody. It's only working for few people, and that is not where we want to be. And I believe this is where JMB wants people to be to the point where you can afford to do the things you want to do without necessarily having to beg somebody else.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Finally now.
But the man will not finish driving.
You know, they men driving every day. The men can stop driving.
I know,
The
man.
men can be driving every day.
I am an Uber driver, right?
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, we can talk about. We can choose to talk about bankruptcy at your convenience.
Don't come there with me, I beg you.
You said bankruptcy where?
We should discuss bankruptcy at our convenience time. So,
Yeah, and I will appreciate that when he comes back for talk about that local team, because there's a lot of information that soon I will get on it right now. Maybe when he comes back, that we can dive into it deeper.
Look,
Yeah.
there will always be information on Nokal. Nokal was, like I said, in the press for many different reasons, and all of them not so good because of the name. National Oil Company of Liberia. When people think about oil company, they think about money. That's it. And to your point, everybody wanted a piece of that pie. Everybody wanted to participate.
Somebody just tells me, they said, he was a commandant of our city, so he was a close man, so he was defending.
I didn't know that. I asked him before that man can stand in front of me. I stand in front of him. I know him before. I know him. No, to be honest, all the time stay working for a national oil company. I'll see that man one day. I'm telling you.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you.
That'll be the next guest, then we can continue to talk about this thing.
Yeah, okay. Let's bring on the next person. They meant to we bring it on here tonight. A boss man just went recently to Yekipa.
Yeah.
And one of his boss man colleague, accused that delegation of going to accept some bribery. And he has been on Facebook defending his boss man. And this is the same thing we're talking about, exploration. The preparation were not done earlier on. And government comes, government go. So the new leadership thinking the other people not doing the right thing. And other people thinking the people doing the right thing. So thankfully, Robert, you will be here and you will ask the man some question. But let's get to you, Josiah Busa Jr. Is it Busa? Josiah, can you please introduce yourself for us shortly?
I'm Busa from Laos, right near Yantoin.
Okay, great. So introduce yourself for us shortly.
Okay, so my name is Josiah Busa Jr. I hail from Lao Zao, Nimba, in District 8, and I'm the interim national chairperson for the proposed PAP Youth Congress. I'm also a development specialist, so work a long time in the development sector, and I spent some time working in the telecommunication sector too. So that's just brief about me.
Now, I guess
I came on here.
Let's hear you. Lay the basic for us.
Yeah. So I came on here for us to discuss the issues surrounding our resources, especially in Nimba, an agreement or whatever is being done about it so that it can benefit us. In discussing that, I also like to make us understand roles that other people who are not even in bias have played. And in doing our advocacy for the right thing for our country and county, the need for us to acknowledge roles that people have played, because we will need other people's support to join us in making what we want to happen. So that's why I've come on here for us to discuss, sharpen some of the contradiction and set the records straight.
Okay. Now, we still got a little bit of time in our favor. I want us to dive strictly into the issue. Your boss man recently visited Nima. Let's cut through the case. We are told that the delegation that went to Nima, I'm coming. We are told that the delegation that went to Nima, they didn't inform the governors of the county. When I say the governors of the county, they include the CI, that is the county inspector, the superintendent, the development superintendent, the rest of the folks who take care of the day-to-day activities of the county. Secondly, they didn't inform the Nima Legislative Caucus. What say you in your political, let's say, he said that he's not a political leader of PPAP. I don't know how true is that, but what say you on this issue? Do you think the delegation were right but not sending a communication to Nima? When I say Nima, I mean the caucus or the superintendent and her interaction.
Okay, thank you. The first thing I want to make you understand is that Senator Sir Joseph is not my boss. I do not work in his office. I've never worked there. I've been national chairperson for the Youth Congress of the proposed PAP. Senator Sir Joseph does not have a position in a proposed party, so he's not my boss in any way. However, I have supported him for a long time. That even I was the chair for press and public affairs for his campaign, and a lot we've done. So I know a lot about him. Coming to the question about whether it was right to not inform the Nimba leaders. As the senator himself said last night, it was wrong for the committee not to inform the Nimba Legislative Caucus and the leadership of Nimba County. It was wrong. But I'd like to make us to understand this whole thing surrounding this committee. Senator Sir Joseph was not the head of the committee that went to Nimba a few days ago. He was not. How did he even get on the committee? It was Friday, the same day they went, that he was asked to join the committee. Why was he asked to join them to go to Nimba? It was because of the previous role that he played that halted the whole conversation about this mineral development agreement. In November 2021, November 25, 2021, former President George Weah sent a communication. In fact, a communication from former President Weah was placed on the Senate floor to discuss and vote upon to ratify the ArcelorMittal's deal, to amend, they call it Amendment Number 3, and I was saying some of the documents, Amendment Number 3, and to renew the mineral development agreement, the tripartite mineral development agreement between among ArcelorMittal Liberia, ArcelorMittal Global, and the government of Liberia. When the Senate was about to vote on that day, November 25, 2021, Senator Sir Joseph objected that they cannot vote on this, or they should not vote on this, unless a delegation is set up and they go to the concession area in the affected communities and do on-site fact findings that will inform the Senate to be able to make the appropriate decision. And what should be the fact findings? To understand whether the ArcelorMittal has lived up to the existing agreement. Because you need to understand whether they have actually been implemented or they have fully implemented the existing agreement before you can even talk about renewing anything. I'm talking about 2021 that Senator Giantoya was not even a senator by then. Based on Senator Sir Joseph's argument, the Senate leadership set up a committee. That committee had the current Vice President, Jeremiah Parkun, on it. And Senator Sir Joseph was made the head of that committee. The president visited Baza, visited all the affected communities, visited the ArcelorMittal management, the caucus, and they brought all of them together and had conversations. The same was done in Nimba. If you went to Zolowi, Barapa, and all the affected communities you asked, they will tell you that it happened. So from everything that was fun, ArcelorMittal was in gross violation. They had not lived up to their portion of the bargain. So the committee led by Senator Sir Joseph did a report, a comprehensive report with recommendations, and they were delivered to the plenary of the Liberian Senate. This discussion, the report was submitted January 22 of 2022. And it was voted upon that, based on the recommendation of that committee, was voted upon that ArcelorMittal should go back and fully implement what's in the existing agreement before they can come to the Senate or whoever with any other conversation about renewal or amendment. Since then, ArcelorMittal has not carried any document to the Senate to renew any agreement. Neither has the executive, through the president of Liberia, carried any or sent any document to the Senate for ratification of ArcelorMittal's deal. Since Senator Nyan Twine became senator, there is no document that has been carried to that Senate for them to ratify the deal. Now, this committee that came to Nimba, like I said earlier, the senator admitted, and I myself agreed to that, there was an error on the part of the committee, even the leadership of the Senate, for them not, because it's the leadership of the Senate that set up that committee, for them not to inform our Nimba leaders. It was a disrespect. And Senator Sir Joseph admitted that the chairperson and people who led her, they made a mistake in that. What was the purpose of the committee? The purpose of the visit to Nimba was not to come and see whether ArcelorMittal is in compliance so they can renew any deal. No. Senator Nyan Twine gave a complaint that ArcelorMittal was not living up to their whatever, that in Yikepa, the houses that were built by Lamco, they are all abandoned, that our people are living in tents, that hospitals there are not, there's not health facility there. There were a lot of things that you know about that Senator Nyan Twine complained about. You are aware that the Senate invited ArcelorMittal, and they had a session on this, they had a hearing on this. ArcelorMittal, you know, there was an argument or counterclaims or back and forth with the senator, and they had that conversation at the Senate. So, as part of the investigation into all looking into the complaints of Senator Nyan Twine, the Senate decided to send people on ground, because Senator Twine said, you not get a hospital in the place. You can't, you are arguing something. Senator Twine said, the workers are living in tents. You said, and not you, all the one. So the Senate sent those senators, those committee members to Nimba to come and see for themselves things that Senator Twine complained about. That was the purpose of the visit. Now, we just saw on Facebook, because it's easy to spread anything that seems ugly. And we don't blame the public, because we have witnessed how our resources have been, squandered, and our leaders have sided with concession companies to strangulate and steal our future. So when any rumor about anything, the public will be outraged. Some of us, we feel somehow that our Senator Nyan Twine, in his advocacy and fight to do the right thing for us, along the way, he has some missteps, in my view. The misstep or the mistake as a professional person was when you saw your colleagues and you didn't know how they came. Did you contact the leadership of the Senate that you are a member of to know what is happening? You went on Facebook and you posted that people are come having secret meetings, and if you really do your research, meeting was not held. They never met ArcelorMittal until on Saturday morning. And the reason why they even went inside, because Senator Sir Joseph being the chair on transportation, that's how they talk about things about the railroad. He wanted to see evidence, so they said they wanted to do a PowerPoint presentation. That's how they went in the conference hall that was accessible to everybody. So for people to come and say they want to have secret meeting, it was not it. And again, Senator Nyan Twine, in this advocacy, he should acknowledge roles that other people have played that even made this deal not to be renewed. That's how you do things. But Senator Twine, I don't know whether he has been doing it, whether he has acknowledged the role that other people play before he can even become senator. So I will pause here for now. I think you may have some questions and we'll go ahead.
Thank you very much. Robert is here. I think Robert will want to ask you some bit of question, but I beg you, I want to throw this up to you to please help me with your postman number. We want to bring him on the show. I want you to send me his address and number. After the show, I will text you. Now, with the way this entire thing is going between ArcelorMittal, the Nima caucus, the government of Liberia, do you see any changes coming within the MDA? Why, with the way we are going with things, the caucus not speaking unanimously, people deciding to do their own thing, the Senate are going to Yekepa without informing the Nima caucus. Do you think there will be changes within the MDA? Or it will just stay the same and then it just pass as it was done in 2007?
On the side of the legislature, okay, so on the side of the legislature, I am confident that there will be changes. Because, like I said, this thing was not renewed. Executive sent the thing to be renewed in 2021. And Sir Joseph and others stop it. Senator Twine is just that people that Sir Joseph are now loud about what they do. Senator Twine, being a senator of the county, is also leading this fight for he is very public about it. So I do believe that there will be changes because there were people before who fought against it and there have been new people added to them and they are fighting against this. The only play that I might be worried a little bit will have to do with the executive. Because when I saw the executive in Yekepa, the praise ArcelorMittal, it might be being diplomatic or whatever. I don't want to accuse them of anything, but I hope that they will go with the legislature in making sure that the things that were stipulated in the previous one be done, and even there should be refinery of the new deal that will come. There are a lot of things that should be that were not in the previous one, and they should be also added. So I have a hope. To be honest with you, I'm hopeful. For the fact that even coming on ground to investigate into complaints from our lawmakers, I'm hopeful.
Thank you, Josiah. Thank you so much. Robert is a very busy person, so I will give you the opportunity if he could make his input or ask you a question to do so.
Josiah, how are you, man? So I've been following the. I can't hear you.
I think he's being harmonized. Something happened.
Yeah, the host muted me, but he's doing it now.
Oh, okay. I was saying I've been following the whole saga surrounding this visit, and Jan's position I also followed. He's arguing that visits of such, channeled through plenaries, and they are endorsed, and then people are made aware of those visits before people attend. Was it the same situation? Because he argued that there are two committees and responsible for that, and he's on one of them as the chairperson of the committee on modernization, and he wasn't informed. He wasn't made aware. Unbeknownst to them, they were informed that they had a committee from the Senate and the lower house, visiting the mines. Does that raise any concerns to you and your political proposed political party? I won't be careful. I'm choosing your words carefully.
We gotta be careful.
Yeah, I'm being careful. Your proposed political party leader.
Okay, so and people keep trying to tie him to it. I would not.
No, I'm not tying him to it. I'm just saying if there's anything of concern to.
So no, I'm talking about the party issue. The party issue. Senator Sajula is just a member of the proposed PAP. But anyway, in that conversation, in that post of Senator Twine, I would like you to go back to the post. You will see that down. He said that he talked about 2 committees, statutory committees.
Yes.
Then he also mentioned that unless a committee is set up by the leadership. So
without his
the leadership of
without his knowledge,
the Senate, the leadership of the Senate can set up a specialized committee. A specialized committee. It's not a statutory committee. Like the committee I talk about, Sir Joseph, leading in 2021, it was not a statutory committee. It was a specialized committee. So the leadership of the Senate can set up a specialized committee. So I am also saying that there was not, for me, I consider it disrespect. There was not a respect to our NIMA leaders. But even the leadership setting up a committee and not informing our NIMA leaders that the people coming there, it was a disrespect. I don't consider it corruption. I consider it disrespect. That is the point that I agree with.
Okay.
But without engaging your leaders as senator, and you just come on and say the people keen to collect bribe, I think as a professional person, we also need to build allies, because in that Senate it's about numbers. Who needs to build allies? You understand that student politics different from national politics, and in those things we should be careful. Seriously.
My next question, I know you're trying to represent your proposed PAP your proposed PAP party member, but don't you think Honorable Twine has sufficient basis for his assertion in that post? I mean, issues of renewal and non-renewal are being discussed. The one person who's been in the vanguard actively is Honorable Twine. The one person who has been vocal about ArcelorMittal neglecting its responsibilities as spelled out in the MDA is the one person that was not informed of this particular delegation that was set up, or special committee that was set up to pay that visit. Don't you think he has a sufficient preposition to that declaration?
So, Mr. Sokale, I want you to check this. The Senate, the Liberian Senate, does not have any document before them in their workroom about renewing ArcelorMittal deal. Let's get that straight. The trip was not about getting information to renew or to reject renewal. The trip was about coming to see firsthand what Senator Twine complained about. Senator Twine said the ArcelorMittal had our people living in tents. That ArcelorMittal does not have health facility that commensurate with what the Senate do. He complained about things that were happening in the concession area that were not to be happening. The committee came to see, because when ArcelorMittal was called to the Senate, they denounced on they had this counter arguments on things. So they came to see firsthand. And I agree that he's right to get angry about why he was not informed, or why our leaders in the country were not informed. That's why I said that's disrespect. The point that I have is for him to come and say the king to collect money, to collect bribe, that was not to be done. As a professional person, as an elder, as a senator, you just, with no evidence, you come and say the people king to collect bribe. they kill or collect money so they can go pass the deal when you know that there is no thing in the workroom of the Senate about renewing due. But so I believe that in his advocacy, you should not just throw your colleagues, you should not spread allegations that you don't have evidence on about your colleagues. When you say the king of collect bribe, you know what you are saying? What the evidence? Because they didn't inform you that the king of collect bribe? No. And Senator Twine is a senator, you are a professional person. You know how you engage things professionally. You know that. That is the point we're making. So nothing about renewing due had to do with this trip. The Senate currently sent 2022 when they say Asada Mida should go and do the NIVO. They have not received any document that they should renew due. Do your research. Since Senator Twine became senator, Asada Mida or the executive branch has not gone to that Senate to say this is a document to rectify Asada Mida due. Do your research.
Okay, we will allow the situation to unfold, but I still don't think that the senator will make unfounded claims against his colleagues. I just believe there's something simmering, something
so you get
time to the visit than just going to see what's happening without informing the men who have been telling you that these issues are unfolding, right? So that's the part that you are referring to. Equally so, I still think that the senator will just make lousy remarks, to say these are people who have made themselves vulnerable to Asala Meta by going, prostrating and trying to see if they can get something in return. Right?
So, but you say you don't think he will, but up to now, the senator has not given us any evidence.
No,
evidence you guys that you are not informed.
I'm still thinking that the senator will not just make these open allegations without having, reasons to make them.
So, can he bring us evidence of them receiving bribe? I will be very happy to receive the evidence.
Well, not necessarily evidence where it has reached to the point where, because of his open rebuke of their actions, they've now decided to do the right thing. That would be good news for Nima as a whole. That they should go now and see the conditions that people live under, given the fact that Senator Twine has already made his position open and already probably exposed.
Yes, we agree to it. Yeah. They are actually working because of what he said. He brought a very important issue up, and they are taking it serious. But calling Asada Mida and they say, when we call you, you come here to the plenary, you talk. When I just leave here, that will go on ground.
Josiah,
Gian, I gotta go, man. I've been here for a minute.
Yeah, so
that's my last question on the side note. When will this proposed thing become reality?
Okay,
this whole proposed PAP. When are we expecting the real PAP?
Okay, the next ruling party is going to be certificated very soon because it is the government that is the hold on. The National Elections Commission. We have done all that we need to do. We are not the other people that get party headquarters. We have headquarters. We only await the National Elections Commission.
Proposed PAP. I'm talking about other people.
So National Election Commission is the hold on. So they are the ones. Very soon they will be giving us the go ahead to go to convention and whatever. So we are waiting on them. So the National Elections Commission is the hold on. But in the meantime, we are working and we will make sure that Senator, our late godfather, legacy will live on, that his university, whatever making it not to open, we make sure that it open. He made a lot of people for in less than a year that he passed. His legacy, his cow, we understood that the cow, you can't find it again in Uganda there, finish eating and do all kinds of things. We understood again that his university has now opened. We're going to do what we're going to do for it to open while we are waiting neck. We were in Tabata yesterday. The Tabata Hospital, the JFD, continues to suffer from a power outage. And the reason is that the line from Cote d'Ivoire, is passing through the bush. So when the tree branches break and fall on it, it will give problem. It's always happening. So yesterday, we paid people and they clear along the way from Tabata all the way to wherever the current is coming from to free the line so that the JFD cannot have a power outage. because of those things. And we also committed ourselves to connecting JFD with international partners, health partners that will be helping the hospital. But in the meantime, in 2 weeks, we will be carrying medical equipment and supplies there because our hospital is literally empty. And so we are working for the Liberian people. We're not saying to cause government or to cause opposition. We will be working. While we are waiting for them to give our certificate, we will be working. When they give our certificate, we will continue working. And very soon you'll start eating PAP rest on the market.
Thank you, Robert.
Junior, it was good to be on the show again. It's always a pleasure. And Josiah, it's good seeing you, man. It's been a while. Chris, we'll be having our conversation. We'll continue to have that conversation.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem.
Y'all have a good evening, man.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you so much for being here. So, Josiah, we got like 15 to 20 minutes. Chris will ask his 2 questions. But Chris, before you ask that 2 questions, I want to make a follow-up to what Robert asked to Josiah. When did the committee arrive in Nimba?
The committee arrived in Nimba Friday evening because I can remember I spoke with Senator Sir Joseph when I was on campus. It was around 6, going to 7. When I spoke to him, he said, I just reached in Nimba. I said, Chief, you are going what? He said, yes, they get added me to some kind of committee for us to come here about to look into 1 year or say, and they just informed me this morning. And in fact, it was that Saturday, in fact, that Friday that Senator Joseph around 11 a.m. that he was informed and added to that trip. And where he did not want to, but they said, man, you started this thing, and besides that, you also chairman on transportation. And I said, they're talking about how they are repairing or they maintaining the railroad and things. So please, it was just that Friday. So he's not even ahead of that particular trip. But being that this man has a potential, so the party, the CDC, every other person they want to do, I want to think him. I'm looking at it. There's so many news about pastor.
My second question. My follow-up to that would be, when did the committee put up the press statement about their being in Nimba?
The committee put up the press statement in the morning. And like I said, they arrived in the evening. Some people reached the night, some people reached in the evening.
Which morning now? Which morning? Is it Saturday or Friday?
It was Saturday morning. Saturday morning when they were about to go, when they were about to go to Asala Mita in Jikepa. Because when they woke up, people woke up, they just seen things on Facebook about why people having secret meetings. Some posted they now you carry official cars, and their official cars, what they carry. Some posted.
Now, the reason why I'm making this to be very clear is because of Senator Nyan Twine allegation. Why do you think the committee didn't put up the report Friday when they were leaving or coming Nimba? They had to wait first until Saturday. Do you think without the allegation of Senator Nyan Twine, the committee would have ever put up a report of their being in Nimba?
Okay, so one thing that I can say is that the committee going to reaching Asala Mita would have been public. Because when we saw it's not even on the senator's page or any of those senators' pages that I saw it, but Liberian Senate official page. What I cannot speak to is whether they were going to have press conference or not. Because I can remember when Senator Sir Joseph led committees in 2021 when they were going, I don't remember them having press conference all over, but what I can remember is that when they were going to the communities that they went to, announcements were made in those communities and the people came together because they had several engagements and from place to place. So I cannot speak whether they were going to have press conference or not, but our press conference was actually addressing allegations that the senator raised. But again, I believe that there was an error along the way by not informing. Error for me, I don't want to say error, but disrespect from the side of the leadership of the Senate, but then not to come up with the information to our leaders of Nimba.
Thank you.
I have our leaders because you are not informed. You say the poking of steel, and let me tell you, Representative Nekaki short day. Representative Nekage, Representative Nyat Flomo. They are conversations when they came out on Facebook. It was very professional. They raised him, but our senator ya concluded. That's where I was saying that Senate politics, legislative politics, different from you're not a student politician anymore. You can't just spill allegations or just say things like that about your colleagues without coming up with serious evidence.
Thank you. Chris, let's hear your 2 questions and then we will take leave of Josiah.
Thank you. Josiah, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, and thank you for having me.
Okay. Yes. I want to ask a minute about I decided to go there because if you're a spokesperson for the legislature or you are working over the senator or the Liberian Senate, could dive into it. But I believe you're not a spokesperson for them, so I can't dive into asking them that thing because I will not be convinced by your answer. But a few things you spoke on, I'll do it. Yeah, there are a few things you spoke on about GFD and the social grouping on the PAP because I haven't been certificated yet by the Election General Commission. We can't call it political party. I will ask you questions, 2 questions. And you talk about it, their respect for the executive in the Senate. It's not surprising to us. Towards Nima Koko, the president did it 2 times. The Liberian Senate doing it towards our leaders in Nima. It's not surprising. Some of us that have been the basis of their leadership. So I don't want to dive into that. You spoke about, I know people find this podcast, and I want you to say that if you can repeat that or to be clear. You talk about JFD Hospital, and I get keen attention to it.
Your line is distorting. Please come again.
I said you talk about JFD Hospital, and as I dive into the question, and that have to do with when you get. Josiah, you getting me?
I'm now getting you. I don't know, Junior.
Okay. So when you talk about JFD Hospital, because of course, because this girl, I think I see here, the administrator of the hospital was honored, and the best hospital administrator or executive whatsoever for Liberia by I think few other organizations. And today you come and see the hospital empty. What perspective are you talking from the patient side? There's no patient. That means empty, or there's no medical supplies like drugs or medication at the hospital, which empty. Are you talking about either for patient or for medical supplies or treatment? Can you verify that for me?
Josiah, are you there?
Okay, thank you. I must admit to you, the leadership of that hospital is doing well. When we talk about the hospital being empty, we are talking about what should be and what it is. Looking at the coverage, the portion of Liberia that depends on that hospital, the entire Southeast, Nimba, even going to Bong, they depend on that hospital. So the weight that is on the hospital compared to what the hospital has, it amounts to being empty. Therefore, the hospital needs serious support. You can be a head of an institution and doing well with what you have in the midst of serious challenges. It does not mean that you're not doing well as a leader of that area. Let's say, for example, I'm just giving an example. You put you at this clinic, you needed 20, but right, this clinic need, for example, 20 microscopes to adequately do all the screening on time and things. And then you have only one. You are empty. You need more and you don't have. So based on in this assessment we did, it was the administrator and his team that led the senator and team around to see what's happening. Like I even talk about the issue of the power outage that was giving problem there and all those things. And then there are serious challenges there. And we understand the budgetary constraints that we have in Liberia. The United States government has stopped supporting us that they were doing. And you know that the USAID, the closure, stopped 98 projects in Liberia. And you know a huge portion of these things is to contribute to health facility. So too many things we have here that we all know sincerely government cannot adequately take care of everything at once. So that is the reason why when we see a problem, we go there to help and solve. So the hospital being empty does not mean that the leadership there is not doing anything. What it means is that what they have and what they should have are not seen.
Thank you.
I hope you got it. What should be is okay.
Yeah, thank you. I know you answered probably as politician, but not to our convenience. But my last question would be, do you think, because I'm looking at Senator Nyantoye's last comment, do you think that people at NIMA should take Osajida serious when he has business with accident mental buses have been used by accident mental? Do you think that the people at NIMA should take this man serious when he's doing business with accident mental? Do you think so? Thank you.
Okay, good. Do you think, do I think that the people of NIMA should take Senator Sir Joseph serious? I don't think, but I know. I know that the people of NIMA must take Senator Sir Joseph very seriously. Why? During Ebola time, despite Senator Sir Joseph being a senator of Monserrado, he extended his fight against Ebola to NIMA. Also, a lot of Nimbaans are benefiting, currently have been benefiting and still benefiting from humanitarian services of Senator Sir Joseph. You are aware that of late, Senator Sir Joseph donated to one of NIMA lawmakers. And Senator Sir Joseph again has another donation coming that he spoke about even before this trip, and you know about it, that he has a donation for Senator Nyantoye. Because there are two senators, you donate to the other one, he's donating to the other one at the request of the current vice president. You also know that this current vice president, who is a former senator of Nima County, requested from Senator Sir Joseph, and Senator Sir Joseph has on his way about 200 hospital beds to be given to the VP, who is a son of Nima County, for hospital projects that he has for the people of Nima and Liberia. So if you talk about taking it seriously, he has been doing a lot. Even the PYJ Polytechnic, he contributed to the building of that in his little way. He has been doing a lot for the people of Nima County. We should take it serious. Even when it comes to the Asalamida issue, because it was his argument that made that deal not to be, that votes were not taken on it in the Senate. He led delegation and stopped it, the renewal of Asalamida deal in 2021. When Senator Nyantoye was not even in the Senate, he led the fight. Other Nibaeans were part of this fight. Like I said, the common VP was on our committee. He led the fight and they stopped that deal, which was in the interest, his fight was in the interest of the Nima people. The issue of the whole contract with Asalamida, like I posted on my page today, I'm still waiting for the document that we have showing that the senator gave a contract with Asalamida. I'm still waiting to find that document, even a company that he has. Because for you to have a contract that you over there, if you have a company, when we provide the article of incorporation for that company, we'll see the business registration, we'll see your name, we'll see things there about you. So, but that conversation, you will hear from people who should have that conversation about contract with Asalamida. You will hear from them. But some of us, we still wait to see the document or the contract between he and this Asalamida. We have a law in this country that gave us the right to request for information, and we will be protected by that law for us to get the information. So anybody can ask Asalamida for their contractors or the people they have contract with and to review every other document, and it is your right and you will get it. We still want to see that document. We ask the senator to provide that document, Senator Nyantoye, because he said today that this man has contract with Asala Meter. I'm still waiting on the senator, my own loud brother, to send me or to provide the document. So I don't want to go into that other conversation. But the thing here about whether they should take Nimba Post should take him seriously, yes. He has a lot that he has done for Nimba and a lot on the way for Nimba County.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Josiah, for being here tonight. We appreciate you. When they propose PAP, get the relevant document, we'll bring you here so that we can discuss PAP in its totality. But again, I really appreciate you for being here tonight. I appreciate you so very much for being here. Finally, in 2 minutes, let's have your parting comment.
So I would have spoken dialect, but I can speak the two all the dialects from Nimba. So I would like to say thank you so much to the BKS family. At least this time we may plow. I say thank you so much to the BKS family for providing us the opportunity to speak with or to our people. We also like to tell our Nimba people and our leaders that we stand with everyone who is fighting for the right thing to be done for Nimba. Asala Meter has grossly violated the agreement that we have with them, and Asala Meter must live up to that agreement before any other renewal and other recommendations that have been made and are being made must be taken into consideration and acted upon demonstrably that we can see with our eyes before we can talk about renewing any document. The proposed PAP stands with every Nimba and every Liberian who fights for the right thing to happen for our country. We will never do anything that will not be in the interest of the Liberian people, because you should believe us, because we have never done that. The PAP should be trusted by Nimbayans. The proposed PAP should be trusted by Nimbayans. The proposed PAP has Nimbayans there coming in like whatever, and we will work for Nimba in Nimba, and very soon you will start seeing it. BKS, please provide your people to go along with us to Tabata in about 2 weeks from now to do a donation solely to JFD Hospital. Please do that. Please understand the trip our member, who is Senator Sir Joseph, made along with other colleagues to Yikepa, had nothing to do with renewing contract. There is no document before the Senate, and you can ask Senator Nyatwine, no document before the Senate to renew AML contract. What is before the Senate is the complaint from Senator Nyatwine. So those people came to look into it. And we are urging the Liberian Senate and the legislature and the government of Liberia to always respect our Nimba leaders when they are making any decisions. You can't come to our country without telling the people. In the same time, coming there, Senator Twine, they did not. You should not have come out and just concluded that they came to collect bribe. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you for hosting us.
Thank you for being here tonight, Josiah. We really appreciate you. Thank you. And so, Chris, my man, tonight you did your team, man. You came from the beginning, you stayed to the end. I want to appreciate you for that. But let's hear your analysis and your parting comment in 2 minutes.
Thank you, Jion. First, let me say congratulations to Dembele for winning the Ballon d'Or. I'm so proud of him because leaving Barcelona to go on PSG, stay in the ground, I think he deserves it. I say congratulations to him.
He did well this good season, man. He did extremely well, and he keep doing it this season again.
Definitely. Thank God, 2 minutes Messi and CR no more in the race now. That the young people continue on that path.
The young people keep carrying it, man.
Yeah, and before I go to Josiah, the same thing I observed today when President Bouaka was speaking. I don't know if you got followed it. When he reached to certain area, it was 2 minutes 57 seconds. I don't know if they call him mark off. I don't know if it was mistake or for the presiding officer was too embarrassing today. It was too, shameful to our nation. And I feel that they expect to the people of Liberia, not President Bouaké alone, but to our nation. It was so embarrassing to them when I followed that, even I was saying security. To remind, I think it was wrong and it brought disgrace to our nation. And I hope that our brothers and sisters can have the same courage to speak to them. And the E-Marshal only saw his full speech, but the video they have deleted it just 30 minutes ago, just checking it again. But again, we hope that we can work on the next time. And the next thing is, I don't think Sir Joseph should be the one to be talking about Nima issue. I said, be correct. He enjoying from the sweat of the people of Nima. Sir Joseph have bosses, 7 bosses, written by Arsenal Mental. So why you think that man will sit them with Arsenal Mental to counteract Arsenal Mental decision? So it's just a political show way he went for. And I don't think that people are Nima to take just serious in the Arsenal Mental day. He's one of those who play the political game and slow in Liberia that live on the soul of people. Arsenal Mental went in and body to the mail going against Arsenal Mental decision. This is what you're doing. You go into the country, 2 senators are on your phone. The caucus on your phone. You just went there and they could demos there. They said there's no bravery. There's only behind a vegetation. So I don't think that Nima will take those people who try to compromise the each of the people in Nima is start taking note on them. People like Joseph, we should not get credence to visit in our towns around there. When they're trying to kill the dream of Nima, they're trying to buy on Nima County. So all the villages and towns in Nima should just address serious. We should allow them to come around there. He's one of the criminals in Liberia. I should say it. And the next thing I will talk on tonight, where our big brother, Mr. Sonkalo spoke, now when we come back on Arsenal, on our Noka issue, because we are doing intensive research, it's clear that it went barrel. I don't know how you define on a barrel robbing, but it went barrel. It was said on our website, on Noka, what I'm just checking it right now, 2015, August, it was just on the website, I'm reading it right now again. It went barrel. So I think that they should go beyond and do more intensive research on these things. And Arsenal Mental, I'm not just talking about our guests, but Arsenal Mental should be the example. That every concession of Liberia, our lawmakers, our legislators, the executive should sit down and do proper investigation, proper planning to see how those guys operate in Liberia. Because if you bring those people in, what if you invest in, they will do anything, the people that enjoy them. The Arsenal Mental today, we are crying over 20 years. How many people, how many towns around there, why have been achieving the health sector, the schools? But today is getting another new one coming. We say, oh, job. We want job. We want for Kumba to come in so we can get job. But we don't look at the legality. We don't look at the aftermath effect that we have on the community, on our people. But again, it was a good show tonight, Jim. And I will adapt into these things. Further, President Bouaké speak to them. And I haven't seen my man and say everything. Maybe I believe I was saying everything. And Sergio couldn't come to the show because President Bouaké was speaking to them to United Nations when they call her a speech. And I hope Digo can kind of speak on that, and you stay away also. Now, read them too. Maybe they'll come tomorrow defend it while they call President Bouaké, or maybe the time finish, or he will not speak in a lot of people here, or he will not speak good image. I hope that we will come to that and say it because last time he said he spoke good English and all around with it. But today, he was in speech and they called it off. Again, it was a good show.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much. I followed the president's speech today, and I got shocked that he was speaking and then he got cut off. I heard the presiding officer speaking, and I was like, wow. So it didn't take too long, the executive mansion to post the full speech. And I was thinking, like, did I not join this thing from the beginning? Or the Papa just summarized the entire speech in 2 minutes and he left it. But again, that's the UN General Assembly. We can't question them as to why. The more we start, what I see into this is that the more we start paying attention to our own culture, the more we start paying attention to our own things and start buying down to these people start buying down to them, start giving them all of the courtesy stuff, giving them everything that they deserve, because I believe they make the law, but they themselves, they don't abide by the law. So we go there, they treat us as the way they want to treat us, and we keep giving them the credence that they hold the number one position as the world top organization in the world, when we have the capability or the ability to organize ourselves as a continent to be one. And we cannot do that. And it means we keep going to these people, they will off the mark before us. And what will happen sadly is that they always, if you follow the track record of these things, they always use our own, that is our fellow black, to do these things. So the person who did our mark cutting today, the next person who spoke was not a white man, was not a white lady. It was a black lady who was presiding on our entire thing. So if you get continent like Europe, in Europe, they got their own thing. They do their own thing. They hold permanent seat, not non-permanent seat. If you got continent like America, that, you know, they move freely from one place to another without visa, then we got a very big and rich continent. We don't bring ourselves together. We go to them, we bow to them, and we got all of the resources. We got the ability to be like them or even to be more than them, but we're not doing it. Then people will keep offing mark before us. So yeah, that's clear about that one. But again, it was a wonderful show tonight. I hope and pray that my friend Alvin Wiese can say government surrogates will come here tomorrow to tell us why, you know, our president Mark was caught up when his speech didn't end, why it happened so. And maybe we will have a wonderful show tomorrow. We will give the update in a group chat to who will be appearing here tomorrow. We're going to give the update from there. But again, it was a wonderful show tonight, Chris. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Gino. Thank you.
Thanks.